My name is Rizwan and welcome to the Nowhere. So today we are going to do the analysis of the eighth project of the Trainity, which is called Volume Trend Analysis. So this is the sheet that we get from the Trainity portal. What we are going to do uh, with this sheet is that we'll do the data cleaning of the sheet. So as usual, we'll try to find the number of blanks, and if the blanks exceed 40 or 50% of the total, we will try to delete them. And if the percentage of the blanks is lower than 40 or 50%, so we will try to replace them by mean or mode. So this is the sheet that you will get, and we'll move towards the first task. So the task one is to we have to find the average duration of the each and every time bucket. So okay, and we'll do this. I will show you how we're going to do this. So copy the just copy the these three columns called status, time, bucket, duration. uh, and remember, we have to find the call average duration of the time buckets of each and every time bucket for the received calls, not for everyone. All right. Whose call status for the calls whose call status is answered or received. So these are the calls, total number of these are the total number of calls. It is 117,988, and the total number of received calls is 82,452. So which is like 70% of the total calls. So we will try to do the analysis here. So this is the time bucket from actually, I have sorted it from highest to the lowest. So this is how you will get it. uh, but the time bucket is from 9 to I think 9 to 10. So this is how you will get. And also, I'll show you here. There are two types of columns. One is in minutes. I'll show you. Time and date, time. Yes. 9. Okay, this is shows 9. Yeah, here, this one. This is the duration in minutes, and here this is the duration in seconds. So you can do the work with both of them. So you can uh, uh, calculate the average time for each and every column in minutes, or also in seconds. You can do that. You can do this in both formats. So I did it in minutes formats, but remember to convert it if you beforehand. In If you don't get it in this format, HHMMSS, you have to convert it by using the cell format. By going here, cell format, and custom, to going to the custom, or custom, and selecting RR, minute, and second format. So it will be converted to this second, to the minutes and seconds. So the total average time of the total average time of each and every bucket will be 3 minutes and 19 seconds, which will be almost equal to 199 seconds. So, and this will be the graph. You can just use a simple chart, column chart, and this is going to be the graph for this. You can highlight the maximum and minimum. Okay. So moving on to the second task. So we have to find the count of call status, the count of call for received. Remember that we have to find the number of calls for whose call status is being answered, or the calls who are being received. So there are different types of calls. This is the total number of calls. All right. Remember, I already shown you that. The total number of calls is 117,988, and 70% of these calls are being answered, and 30% are 30% is either being abandoned or transferred. So this is what we'll get. We have to work here. We have to work with the calls, only with the calls that are being answered. So this is how you'll filter it accordingly. You'll copy and paste two columns here in the separate sheet, in the new sheet, and then you'll filter these accordingly. So this is the chart that you will get. As you can see, from 12 to 13, which is 12 to 1 p.m., 12 a.m. to 1 p.m., the maximum number of calls are being answered, and minimum number of calls will be 8 to 9 p.m. So this is what you will get. This is the, and you can make the chart regarding to this. So the call third, this one is a bit tricky, and this is this is the best task of all the four tasks. So this one is a little bit tricky one. Okay, here what we'll do first, we'll copy and paste the time buckets, which are 9 to 10, I think. Yes, 9 to, okay, no, it is from 9 to 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we will distribute all the calls accordingly. We'll calculate all the calls that are in this. Uh, we'll calculate all the calls that are in this time bucket, and in this time bucket, in all the time buckets, we'll calculate all the calls that are in each and every time bucket. Okay. So after calculating the calls in each and every time bucket, we'll do, uh, we'll calculate the number of calls in per day. So remember, these are the calls for 23 days. Okay, these are the calls for 23 days, as it has been mentioned in the Trainity portal. If you go to the Trainity portal and you read all the instructions carefully, and the details, you'll if you read them carefully, you'll get to know that the data given is for 23 days. So we'll have to calculate for each and every day. So total calls per bucket per day, we will have to divide this by 23, and you will get all the calls. So the total number of calls for each day will be 3643. Okay, so moving on to the time section, we'll have to calculate the number of total number of seconds required for the total task, for the total task. Yes, for 193 calls, uh, we'll have to multiply 193 into 199 seconds, because this is the average time, and this is the average time, that that a task takes to complete. So these are the total seconds that each and that the particular bucket will, from 9 to 10 time bucket will take. So these are all, this is the time. So similarly for 10 to 11 time bucket, we will calculate the time in seconds, and these are all the seconds that you can do first. And then this is the most important one. What we have to calculate is, we have to calculate the proportion. So we have to calculate the proportion of each and every call in the particular time bucket. So the proportion of each and so the proportion of calls in each time bucket we have to calculate. So 5% of the total. So how you will get this? We'll get this by dividing C2, this, which is this, divided by this. So you'll get it, and then converting, you can convert the format into the percentage by choosing the cell format. Here you can format cells, you can format change the format into percentage. So you will get it here, and this is the 100% you will get. So how are we going to, so coming to the number of employees we'll need for each time bucket, we will calculate it by dividing. So by dividing the each and every uh, total number of time, we'll calculate the number of employees by dividing the total amount of time taken by each and every employee, which is 4.5 hours into 3600. We'll have to convert the 4.5 hours. Okay, I'll show you here in the Trinity portal. We'll go to the Trinity portal, and I'll show you there. One second, guys. Okay, so here are the assumptions. So an agent works for 6 days a week on average. Agent takes 4 unplanned leaves per month. An agent works for a noun. So the agent works for if a agent works for 9 hours. So out of the 9 hours, this is a gross calculation. Out of the 9 hours, 1.5 are being spent on lunch and snacks in office. An average on average, an agent spends 60% of the total actual working hours, which is 60% of the 7.5. So after dividing, after subtracting 1.5 from the 9 hours, you'll get 7.5 hours. But in actuality, only 65 for 60% of the 7.5 hours is is the effective time that a worker work and that an employee works. So this is going to be about which will this is going to be about 4.5 hours. So the effective the effective work will be 4.5 hours, so of each and every employee. So how many employees will we get here? uh, so if we come if we calculate uh, if we calculate this 4.5 hours and convert the 4.5 hours into the seconds, we'll have to multiply it by 3600. So it will get converted into the seconds. So after converting the total time into the seconds, we will divide this by the total number of average, which is 4.5 hours after converting into the uh, yes. So here is the formula you will have to use, because I have used the round formula here because it will round up to the nearest nearest decimal possible. So it is going to round it up. uh, Here is the and this is the formula for it. So d2, which is this, and divided by 3600 into 4.5 comma 0. So this is the number of employees that we will get. So this is the analysis for when the number of received calls is 70% of the total calls. So these are the total calls, and received calls are this. So this is the analysis for, so how many employees do we need for each and every time bucket? We'll need total, the total employees will be 45. So but when will we need 45 employees? When the received calls or answered call is 30 is 70% of the total calls. So what if we do so this is the second case of this project. So in which it is saying that what if we cut the abandoned calls by 90%, by 10%. Okay, so that means we will have to 90, we will have to receive, we will have to answer the 90% of the total calls. So the abandoned will be 10%. So this is what we will get. So we will have to, the total number of calls 106 189. So these are the total 90% of calls. So this is the chart that we have to, this is the second case for which we have to work. So similarly, we'll do the time bucket. We'll calculate the 90% of total calls in each bucket. So in each and every bucket, how are we going to do that? We'll divide these number of calls in the same proportion. Okay, this is the important point here. We'll distribute these 90% of the total calls in the same proportion as this. All right, so remember, we'll distribute the total 90% of the total calls in the same proportion as we have received, as or we have calculated for for this one, for the first case. So accordingly, we will distribute the total number of calls in each and every time bucket. So here this will come out to be same, the total will come out to be same, 106189. Okay, this is So the number of calls or calls per bucket per day. So this is for the 23 days, and we'll have to calculate for the each and every day, which comes out to be 245 for 9 to 10 time bucket, and 352 for 11 to 10 to 11 time bucket. And similarly we can calculate for each and every time bucket, so which comes out to be 4617 for a single day. And this is the proportion which we have already talked about. So the total time we have to calculate the total time for each and every time bucket. So for we have how are we going to calculate that total time bucket, which is by multiplying C18, which is 245 into 199. What is 199? 199 seconds is a to average. It is the average time, which comes out to be 3 minutes 19 seconds or something. So we'll calculate the total time here and for each and every bucket. And similarly total employees, will calculate the total number of total employees required for each and every task, required for each and every time bucket. So how we are going to calculate that, we have already discussed it. So E18 by 3600 into 4.5. What is 4.5? 4.5 is the average number of hours that a particular employee gives or works in a single day. So this will be so this is how we're going to calculate it, and we'll get the total number of employees will be 47%. So what is the additional extra employees to be hired? So the difference will be from this case and in this case will be 12 employees, and this is how we're going to do it. We're going to differentiate F18, which is this minus this. So we'll get that extra number of employees. Okay. We have the distribution. Okay. So in this case, what we have to do, we have to calculate we have to distribute the number of employees for each and every time bucket. But this is the night case. So in the given conditions, night calls is equal to 30% of all the calls. So at night, 30% of all the calls will be incoming calls will be 30% of all the calls. So what we have to do, we have to make sure 90% of all the night calls get answered. So what we have to do, we have to make sure 90% of the all the night calls get answered. So 90% of the night calls will be 31856. Average time per call will be 199 seconds. It will remain the same. This is how we're going to calculate it. Okay, so the given distribution will be the same. It is also given in the portal there, portal in Trinity. So from 9 to 10. So the case is like this: if there are 100, if there are 30 calls, so three calls will be assigned from 9 to 10, and three calls will be assigned in the 10 to 11 time bucket, and similarly in all these time buckets. So what we'll do, we'll see what proportion, we'll see the proportion of the distribution. So how are we going to calculate this? We'll calculate this by h4. So this divided by this 30. So we'll get the distribution, we'll get the proportion or distribution of all the tasks in each and every time bucket. So calls per bucket will be we'll have to, what we have to do is we have to so round up this I4, which is this, into uh, total 90% of the night time, which will, or we can do this directly, 31856 into 10%. All right, so you can do it directly, or you can do it also like this round, we'll get a round figure to the nearest digit. So this is how you'll get it. Okay, so these are all the calls that we will get. and this is for the day per day. These calls are for 23 days, and these calls are for per day. So we'll divide it by 23. This will divide by 23, and we'll get the calls per bucket per day, and the total time will be, how we exactly calculated the tasks, the time of the tasks above. This will be calculated in the same way. So 139 into 199, this is exactly how it will be calculated. And the number of employees also, I have told you in the same way we have calculated above. It will be 3600 into 4.5 comma 0 will it will what round formula will do, it will round up the figure into the nearest digit possible. So this is how we're going to calculate it. I hope I was able to understand, make you understand the project's basics. So if you do like this video, so please do comment in the comment section and brainstorm your ideas, so that I can improve in my next video. So thank you all.